Alright, in this video we're looking at expressions that involve fractions and multiplication and division. So let's start with the first one here. We have 5 plus 9 times 1/2. Now order of operations would dictate that we work out what's inside the parentheses first. So I'm simply going to say 5 plus 9 is 14. And then it looks like we're going to multiply that by 1/2. So we'll have the 1/2 here after that. So 14 times 1/2, the best way to handle this is actually to write the 14 as 14 over 1, and then you'll be multiplying by 1/2. And multiplication with fractions is pretty simple. You just go straight across. So you could literally do 14 times 1, which is 14, and then 1 times 2, which is 2. Now at this point, you can reduce the fraction by dividing the 2 into the 14 and say that goes in there evenly 7 times. I will show you an alternative way to simplify this before we even do the multiplication in this next example here below. So in the next example it says 5/7 times 14 over 25. Before actually performing the multiplication, we're allowed to reduce on the diagonals. So what I mean by that is any number on top can be reduced with any number below, and that's even true if it's a cross here on the diagonal. So in other words, I can't reduce 5 and 7. They don't reduce. There's nothing in common between those. And I can't reduce 14 and 25, and there's no divisor that goes into 14 that also goes into 25. However, I can say that 7 will go into itself one time and goes into 14 twice. Likewise, I can say that 5 goes into itself one time and goes into 25 5 times. So now I just have 1 over 1 times 2/5, or in other words, simply 2/5, because as I multiply straight across, 1 times 2 is 2, and 1 times 5 is 5. So this produces the answer here for this second case. So we didn't have to do the multiplication first. We can do the reducing before multiplying, and sometimes it makes the multiplication really easy. Alright, this final problem involves division with fractions. So to refresh your memory on that, remember this fraction bar here between the fractions actually plays the role of a division sign. So we're actually saying that this is the same as saying 3/4 divided by 7/8. Now, if that's the case, remember, with fractions, when dividing, we actually keep the first fraction the way it is. So the fraction on the left remains the same as it was in the problem, 3/4. The division symbol will become multiplication, and we take the reciprocal of the second fraction and put it where the old fraction used to be. So 3/4 times 8/7 becomes the new expression. So when dividing, we have to remember that we should flip the second fraction and multiply. Alright, good. From there, we can again cancel beforehand or cancel after. Let's try to reduce or cancel before we start the problem. So we can't reduce 3/4 any further, and we can't reduce 8/7 any further, but I can certainly say that 4 will go into itself one time and go into 8 twice. And then I have 3 times 2, which gives us 6, and 1 times 7, which gives you 7. And so my final answer there is 6/7.